Hello all and welcome to today's video. My name is John McFall and I want to welcome you to the McFallRI channel where I teach you how to make $25 to $30 an hour doing food delivery, and I also teach you how to make semi-passive income. In today's video, I want to talk to you about working in food delivery with DoorDash, Uber Eats, and GrubHub. I want to talk to you if you have a full-time job and you are doing this as a side hustle. Kind of want to break down for you how you should approach doing food delivery so that you can be most successful when you're out here, because you have a limited time compared to people that are doing it full time to get out there and get your hustle on and to get the money that you're looking for. So I kind of want to break it down for you today and talk to you a little bit about it when you're doing it only part time. Before we get into the video, I do want to remind you that down here in my description I have some great tools for you. The one that I want to talk about right now is my metric spreadsheet. If you are brand new or you're experienced but you've never kept track of your numbers, the metric spreadsheet can be very helpful in getting you to where you want to be as far as your dollars per hour and your dollars per mile. So I'm going to throw it up here on the screen real quick so you guys can take a quick look at it. If you look at the left-hand side, you'll see I always put my start time and my end time, and this gives me the total hours that I've worked. I also put in the miles, and then if you look to the right, you'll see for each app I put in the dollars that I've made, the time that I worked, along with the number of deliveries. Then head to the bottom and you'll see that it calculates out what your average dollar per hour, dollar per mile, along with your average per delivery. If you want to know how well you're doing out here so you can see where you need to improve, the only way you can do that is by keeping track of your numbers. So head down into my description and go grab that free copy for yourself. And with that, let's get into the topic. So like many of you, when I started doing food delivery, I was working a full-time job. I wanted to find something to make some extra money, and this food delivery stuff really hit the nail on the head when it came to making the money that I wanted to make and do it in the time that I had available. It's very flexible in that you can get out there when you want. There are no set schedules, so you can literally go out there whenever it is that you want, turn on the apps, and you can start making money. You also don't have to work a number of hours specifically, in that you can go out there and work as little or as long as you want, and you can shut off the apps whenever that time is that you want to go home. And then you can make really good money doing it if you know the apps, if you know your marketplace, if you understand the seasonality, if you understand the days of the weeks and the times of the day. You can get out there and make $25 to $30 an hour when you're out there doing food delivery. I've worked full delivery part-time with a full-time job. I've worked food delivery with no job and done it full-time, and that was my only income. Right now I'm working it part-time while I'm also working a full-time job. So I've got a lot of experience in working the food delivery apps in multiple ways so that I could get the money that I needed to take care of my family. Today, I'm going to talk to you about part-time when you're only working these apps after you're done working your full-time job. Most people go to their 9 to 5 that do it part-time, and then they go out after dinner or during dinner so that they can make some extra money. And this is something that is really good, and you can make a lot of money doing it. The first thing that you have to understand is the seasonality of food delivery. There are times of the year when it's going to be really bumping and you're going to be able to make more money than you know what to do with, and there's other times when it's going to be really slow. During the winter, I'm up here in the Midwest, and a lot of snow falls for a number of months, and during those winter months, people don't want to go out and they want to go from work and go home, but a lot of times they want to eat food that's made at a restaurant, so they order on food delivery platforms. So during the winter, I know that I will be making really good money. Most of the time when I go out there, not all the time, but most of the time when I go out there during the winter, I know that I will make a good amount of money, because a lot of people don't want to go out of their houses to get the food themselves. This leads me into the second thing I want to talk to you about, which are the days of the week. If you are working a full-time job and you can only go out in the evenings, there are certain days of the weeks in many marketplaces that are really, really good, even when it's not really bumping because of the season. But there are days of the week when it's going to be really hitting. In my marketplace, I can go out on typically on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and those are really good days, even when it is like the summer slowdown where the orders aren't coming in as well as they are during the winter. So you really got to go out there and analyze the apps in your marketplace. You got to see what the apps are doing at any given time, at any given day, so that you know how they work throughout the week. You also got to know where in your marketplace to go to get those orders. And you've got to understand that certain days of the week, like Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, can be hit and miss, but Mondays and Tuesdays are typically slower days for me. So if you're working at only part-time and you know that you have a couple of days that just don't normally produce, use those as the days that you don't go out there if you're not trying to work every single day. And then go out there during the days when you know that the orders come in better. I will go out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but I don't expect a whole lot. And then when Thursday comes, people are kind of tired of cooking and they're starting to get close to that paycheck. So orders start ramping up on Thursday. And then Friday, most people get paid on Fridays, so they will tend to spend that money doing food delivery on Fridays and Saturdays, and then Sundays are typically a good day too. So you really got to understand the days of the week, and you got to take a look at your marketplace and figure out what days of the week are the best ones to go out, so that you can know what days you should actually be working and what days that you should be taking off. The next thing I want to mention is, especially if you are working a 9 to 5 and you only can go out during dinner time, a lot of times orders come in most during that 4 o'clock to about 7 o'clock time period. But you might run into a problem where you're not seeing a whole lot of orders in that particular area that you're working, because it might be oversaturated with drivers, because just like you, there's a lot of people that go out during the dinner time rush to make extra money. So it could be oversaturated with drivers. So you've got to really understand your marketplace, and you've got to know where you can go that not a lot of people are hanging out. I work in 2 different marketplaces. One is Auburn, Indiana, and this is a population of 15,000 people. There is literally 1/4 mile strip that has a majority of the restaurants that I pick up orders from for that marketplace. There are some nights when I go out there and it should be a really good night, but as I'm picking up orders, I see that there are a ton of drivers out there in the marketplace, and that means that I'm not going to get as many order offers because there are too many people out there. The same thing applies to the other marketplace I work in, which is Fort Wayne, Indiana. The difference between Auburn and Fort Wayne is a population of 265,000 people. So unlike Auburn, if I see that there's a lot of people in a particular area that are doing food delivery, I simply go to another one of my sweet spots and find a different area that there aren't as many people in, so that I can make the money that I want to make. So depending on the size of your city is really going to depend on what you can do when it comes to these extra drivers being out there in the marketplace. I always recommend to people, if you live in a large marketplace, have a minimum of 3 to 4 different what I call sweet spots, and these are areas that you know that you can get orders. If you're multi-apping like I do, you can get orders on DoorDash and Uber Eats and GrubHub on a consistent basis. places in a specific area, and you need to have about 3 to 4 of these areas. So if you see that one is not producing the orders that you need at that particular time, you have other places that you can tap into to go get the money that you're looking to go get. So if you're working this part-time and you have a full-time job, the biggest factors that you have to take into consideration is this. You've got to understand how the apps work in your marketplace. You've got to understand what apps are the good ones. You also have to understand how your marketplace works. You've got to understand the days of the week. You've also got to understand the saturation of drivers, so you have to know your marketplace like the back of your hand. You've got to have multiple sweet spots in a marketplace if you work in one that's large enough to have them. And if you don't, and you work in a place like Auburn, sometimes you're going to go out and there's going to be a lot of drivers and you're just not going to be able to get the orders that you want. So you either work with it or you go home. So if you are doing this part-time, just make sure that you understand these things so that you can make the most money when you are out here trying to do food delivery. Would like to remind you, head down into my description and go grab that metric spreadsheet if you haven't downloaded it yet. I also have some other great tools down in there like the Beans app and SimplyWise and QuickBooks Self-Employed. Go check those out and see if they could help you. Also would like to ask you to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. Finally, I want to leave you with, I hope that you are out there getting the money that you and your family deserve. And with that, I want to say thanks.